We miss college football.
Milrose stands in. He throws into the end zone.
He caught it.
It's caught by Isaiah Bond in the corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Alabama.
We can't wait for the 2024 season.
Hands it off to Edwards, who will bounce it outside. Got him at 40. Got him at 30. Donovan Edwards is in the clear. His second touchdown run of the ball game. This time from 46 yards. And Michigan has taken a 13-3 lead on the second touchdown of the night from the man who was not tripping.
And we're counting down the days to kick off.
Are we there yet?
No.
Are we there yet?
I said no.
Are we there yet?
What's wrong with your ears?
Here is your college football fix, only on the Zach Gelb Show.
162 days away from the Utah Utes opening up their season against Southern Utah. It is the Zach Gelb Show, coast to coast on CBS Sports Radio. Now joining us is the coach of the Utah Utes. He's been their head man since 2005, and that's Coach Kyle Whittingham. Coach, always great to have you on the show. Thanks so much for doing this, and how you been?
Doing good, Zach. Just got spring ball underway, and we're hot and heavy into it right now. We had our fourth practice yesterday, and so far so good.
You know, I'm curious what your offseason was like. I know you've gone through changing conferences before when it was the Mountain West, and then you elected to get into the Pac-12, and now you guys are going into the Big 12. When you're changing conferences, how does that alter your offseason? Just wondering.
Yeah, we had some things that, we don't usually do, checking travel times and, where we fly into and getting new hotels and all that stuff with all the new destinations that we'll be going to. And that combined with doing research, obviously, on the new teams that we'll be playing. We haven't played, the majority of the Big 12 teams with any regularity. And so we've got a lot of, scout work that we need to do. Now there is teams, that we're very familiar with Arizona State, Colorado, and so forth. So it's not completely new, but there is quite a few new elements to it for us.
Well, I know someone that's not new to your program, but now he's back on the field is Cam Rising. I've been seeing a bunch of videos with spring ball underway. Is he a full go? Is he 100%, Coach?
He is. He's full go. Now, obviously, we're going to keep him upright all spring and not subject him to anything. But it's great to have him back out there. He's a leader of our football team, and it's just a different feel when he's out there on the field and a different vibe. And it's tremendous to have him back out there running the show. And also is one of his main weapons, Brant Keithy, our tight end, who's such a talent, and we were missing him last year as well. So to get both those guys back out there has been a big plus for us.
Yeah, I remember with Cam, there was moments it seemed like he was close last year to get him back and playing for you guys, and then the announcement came that he was not going to return. Just how difficult is that, knowing your relationship with him and what he means to this program with everything he did go through last year?
Yeah, it was tough during the course of the season, hoping that he would be back and be able to return. And we got to the point where it was so deep into the season that we started thinking, what, let's just preserve the year and not rush him back. Not that we would have rushed him back under any circumstances, but just to the point where let's call it good for this season and get him ready for the 24th season. And so that was, like I said, a little bit frustrating at times, but Cam was doing everything he could possibly do to get ready and get back, and it just wasn't quite there yet. And we just followed the medical staff's advice and went the redshirt route. And I'm hoping that we'll be very glad that we did that this fall.
So physically, he's in a good spot. Where is he at, though, mentally? Because that's a different component of this when you look at the physical and the mental side, too.
Yeah, he's in a good place. I mean, he was never out of the mix with us last year mentally. He was out at practice, helping out and working with the quarterbacks and being a part of the team. So he was never removed from the team. But it was frustrating for him just not being able to be out there. But as I said, he's back now. He's 100%. He's moving around. He's throwing the ball well. And he's got absolutely no limitations other than the ones that we're self-imposing as a coaching staff.
Talking to Kyle Whittingham, his team moving into the Big 12. He's been the head coach of Utah since 2005. He's here with us on the Zach Gelb Show on CBS Sports Radio. You mentioned your tight end and Brant Keithy. We know how special of a player he could be for your program. Also had to miss last year because of injury. Take me through how you found out that he was returning, because there was some speculation that maybe his time at Utah was coming to an end.
Yeah, Brant's been in the program for quite a long time, and there was some discussion and some thoughtfulness on his part as to whether or not he wanted to take the next step and try to catch on with an NFL team. But when he considered everything and weighed the pros and the cons, he decided to return for another season. We were elated when he made that decision because as a coach, I felt that was in his best interest as well. That was the same line of thinking that we had, and so he's coming back, and much like Cam, he's 100% out there at spring, and much like Cam, we're not going to tackle him this spring. I mean, that's something that we'll wait till fall, but he's a weapon for us. Obviously he's got a bunch of balls here, and he's a team leader, much like Cam. He's one of the captains. In fact, him and Cam were voted team captains about a month ago, and it's great to have him back.
Yeah, I want to ask you about the rest of your team, because I'm sure most people, all they do is just ask you about Cam and they ask you about Brant because those are the big talking points. You guys have had this thing humming a lot recently at Utah, and you guys have dominated the Pac-12. Now going into the Big 12, some of those Pac-12 teams joining you in the Big 12, and it's shaping up to be a really good conference with all the additions. But what do you want people to know about your team when it's not about Cam, when it's not about Brandon, it's everybody else?
Well, first of all, we've had a pretty good run here, as you mentioned. We've been very consistent through the years, and that really is tied to consistent recruiting. Our assistant coaches have done a phenomenal job of targeting the right guys to get into this program that fit what we do and fit our mentality, fit our philosophies, and that's really what college football is all about. If you recruit well, you're going to have a chance to be successful, and if you don't recruit well, you're going to pay the price. And so I can't say enough good things about our staff and how they've gone about their business in recruiting the right athlete to Utah. We pride ourselves on being a mentally and physically tough team and program, and that's been our calling card for a lot of years. And physical run game, physical run defense, and that's really been our formula, and it's worked. Now we obviously got to do a lot better job offensively this year than we did last year. We had one of our poor performances offensively last year, but as we talked about getting Cam and Brant back, and with some of the other weapons we have in place, we hope to get the offense humming again this fall.
When you look at your future, clearly you love Utah. You've had opportunities to leave. You haven't. You've been there since 2005 as the head coach, but the sport's going through all these changes with conferences, NIL, and the transfer portal. We've seen some coaches that have been around for a long time expedite their retirement process. Do these changes maybe say the end is near for one Kyle Whittingham, or do you still love this as much as ever?
I love the college game. I love what I'm doing. The passion, the energy that I have at work each day is not changed at all through the years. I can say that the new challenge of going to the Big 12 is it's almost like getting a new job. I mean, it's a whole different set of opportunities, and it's much like when we went from the Mountain West to the Pac-12, about 12, 13 years ago. It was the same feel where, hey, new challenges on the horizon and rejuvenation of sorts. But NIL is certainly put a different spin on things, the transfer portal. But I know it's nowhere near resembling what you and I grew up with college football wise, and it's never going to be the same. It'll never get back to what it was. But that's okay with me. I mean, you just keep moving and changing and adapting. And I think at some point they'll put some parameters on what's going on, particularly in the NIL. But for right now, you just got to be able to navigate it, and even as challenging as it can be, that wouldn't be the primary thing that would drive me into retirement. It's just I'm getting up there, but I still feel like I have a few good years left.
Last thing I'll ask you, Coach, as Kyle Whittingham is here with us, I'm going to ask you about some player that you had to go up against quite a bunch the last few years. That's Caleb Williams, whose pro day was today at USC. You just being a defensive-minded coach. I know you guys fared very well up against USC, but you know the talent Caleb Williams is. How do you think his game will translate from college to the NFL?
I think he'll be exceptional in the National Football League. He's got all the physical tools that you need to succeed. One of the most difficult, if not the most difficult guy to sack since I've been at Utah. And that's a 30-year statement right there. And just his ability to extend plays, keep his eyes downfield, his arm strength. I can see no reason why he's not going to be a like I said, very successful and be a number one quarterback for whoever drafts him right away.
162 days away from the Utes kicking off another season of football up against Southern Utah. He is Coach Kyle Whittingham. Coach, good luck on the change into the Big 12 and good health to your program this year.
Appreciate that, Zach. Thank you very much, and thanks for having me on.